Welcome to Dateline Schools, a presentation of the St. Clair County Regional Educational Service Agency, with your host, Chris Troy.
The world is constantly changing. As technology advances, so must the skills of our students in order to meet the world head-on. One program that focuses on doing just that is SCCRESA's Technical Education Center, or TEC. Joining us all this week on Dateline Schools is one of TEC's work-based learning coordinators, Brad Gudme. Brad, thanks for being with us.
Good morning, thank you.
So Brad, what exactly is a work-based learning coordinator?
So a work-based learning coordinator is a faculty that helps students find jobs throughout their time at TEC. We work hard to locate employers and give students work-based learning experience opportunities.
And how many students are out in the local businesses?
So there's 4 work-based learning coordinators. We kind of all split up the programs. I think currently with all 4 of us we have roughly 120 students placed out in the community.
Brad, I'm a little bit older than most folks around here, so I remember back in the 70s and 80s work study. Is that basically the same thing? Is this just a new fancy name for it, or is there a difference?
Very similar for sure, or an internship. So there's some different types of work-based learning that we go with. We job shadow, basically hands in pockets and you just observe. We had paid work-based learning, which we would call like an internship back in our day, and then an unpaid would be more of that work study that we talked about before. So very similar. It's kids getting opportunities with employers, the real-world experience.
Now, what's a good employer, for your tech students to go to here? Is it something that's like a building trades where there's always lots of hands-on and moving materials? Or is there accounting firms? Or what makes a good business that tech would be interested in?
All of the above. We have students in such a variety of fields right now. What we look for, obviously, in an employer, number one is safety. We want somebody to make sure that the kids are going to be learning, but in a safe environment. The other thing is we want those employers that are passionate to pass on all that wisdom that they have, because it gets the students excited as well, and it gives them a glimpse of what it could be like for them down the road.
Brad, how does tech connect with a business? Is this something that they'll reach out to you and say, we're looking for interns, or do you reach out to them in the community?
So we've had it go both ways. A lot of the times it's former relationships, or somebody knows somebody that's looking, or we'll cold call. If I have a student in Elginak looking to be a plumber, I'll get out the old yellow pages and look for plumbers and start calling and tell them what our program's all about. And then we set up a meeting, talk about how the expectations are, kind of the requirements, and then take the students down there, introduce them to the employer, and then kind of give them interview, a few days trial, and go from there. Or we'll have a manufacturing company reach out to us. Hey, we need somebody in this field. They kind of give us a general idea of the student they're looking for, and then we'll try to talk to our instructors and see if somebody fits that build.
Brad, you say cold call. How do you sell a tech student? How do you say to a business owner, you have these millions of dollars invested in your business, and we want to put some high school kids in to kind of learn? How do you sell that to a business?
Well, the nice thing is the reputation of tech kind of carries itself. So when we call and say, hey, we're calling from St. Clair Couty TEC, they understand what it is. And so many of our employers have students from tech or themselves are graduates of tech. So it's just kind of educating them on work-based learning and what we're looking for, what requirements are on their part, expectations, and we really try to take a lot of the burden off of them. There's paperwork, but we try to make it as easy as possible so they're not overwhelmed when we try to send a student out.
What are the, percentages, or does it happen often that a student who has worked as an intern at tech or from tech actually be hired on to a business following graduation?
Well, in the couple of years that I've been here, I'd say it's about 50% of my students stay with that employer. And that's just, I've only looking a year down the road. I don't know longevity, but we really push the kids to get experiences that they hope they can use down the road. Some of them it's maybe hey, I know now that I don't want to do this, which is a benefit too. So that would be a guess. That might be a little high on our numbers, but we really hope that it lasts longer than just the 1 year through school here.
Brad, I'd like to talk about students here at Tech and the careers that they can learn. And like you just said, maybe I don't want to do this now after, it all sounded good till I started doing it. How does Tech prepare students for real life jobs?
So we have a portion of our curriculum is employability skills, and we work really hard with that. Our instructors do an amazing job talking to our students about the expectation when they get out in the real world. They're graded daily on these behaviors, their quality of work, their motivation, attitude, all of these different things. So after so many days in a row of being drilled with it, they really start to understand that, and that's a point of pride for us. The other thing we do is work hard with portfolios for all our students, build a resume, how to write a cover letter, how to interview. We do mock interviews for our students, dress for success. So we do a lot of things that really are unique to things that they're going to see when they enter the real world.
Brad, roughly how many students are here at Tech?
We're about, I think we're almost at 900 students now, growing every year, 14 programs, and we're trying to expand all the time.
Brad, are there competitions out there where your students can kind of compare themselves to maybe other facilities like this in the county, the state, maybe the nation?
Yep, so the biggest one for Tech is Skills USA, and we actually just wrapped up Skills USA this past weekend at the state level. Students have 3 different levels. First, we compete locally. I think we had about 130 students sign up. Each instructor holds a local competition, and from that, their top 3 students in each of the competition areas move on to a regional. We did host 2 different regionals. Macomb hosts some regionals, so it just depends on the program area where it's hosted at. And then from the regional, the top 3 at each region moves on to the state finals. So we actually took 58 students to the state finals this year, which was outstanding for us. And I think we had 8 different programs represented, so pretty cool.
In sports, you always hear about the scouts that are out there. Is this way with jobs too? Are there scouts at these skills looking for possible employment of these kids?
A lot of the programs are run by employers in the state. So yes, obviously they're cherry picking the top of the crowd there. We try to really expand and let everybody in the community know the top students. So of those 58 that competed at states, we had 19 of them medal, and we actually have 12 of them that took first in their competition, and we'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia for nationals at the end of June.
With skills, how do they determine what the tasks will be for each student? Are there groups of business owners get together and say, this is what I'm looking for, this is what we're lacking out there in the business world, so we'd really like to look for students? Or how do they come up with these tasks?
So there's committees that get together for each competition area. It's the employers, it's the instructors, and it's some of the state level administration that get together. They build a program. The competition, obviously, it's pretty similar year to year, but like you said, they're getting feedback from the people out there in the industry, so they do modify things to change it up and kind of fit better what's going on.
How does Tech determine what programs they should be teaching the students out there?
So we really look at the need in the community, in the county. You look down the road, what area of growth is coming up. The desire by the students, so if we get requests for different things, we'll try to see if we can build that, we're trying to expand on those right now. So it's looking around what can a local district feasibly house, what employers out there would be willing to take some programs on.
So is Tech associated with programs like Blue Meets Green and other community business organizations that they can directly feed back to you guys? Look, we're really looking for this now.
So that would be kind of the administration here would be meeting with the employers or the people in the county to go down and just say, hey, with Magna down the road here from Marysville, that's something we've met with, and they know that they're going to need this type of employee in a year and a half. So if we don't have that program, is there a way that we can build something for that? But yeah, there's a lot of communication within the county to kind of determine what we need and what we can expand on.
Brad, what makes Tech a special place to learn?
I think the thing that I like about it the best is that the students choose to be here. So at a local district, everybody's got to be there. Everybody's going to take a math. But when you come to Tech, it's 7 districts throughout the county send their students here, and those students choose to be in a certain program here. So when you go into your class, everybody's excited. Everybody's chose to be in that class. They want to be there. So it really changes the atmosphere. The instructors here are amazing. And what student doesn't want to work hands-on? Everybody wants to get dirty and play with different things. So I think that really changes the way students learn.
And for those who don't know, is TEC a full day program, a half day program? How does that work out with the students?
So we have 2 sessions, an AM and a PM, basically 7 in the morning till 10, and then 11 to 2 or so. So depending on what district you go to in the county, it would determine if you're an AM or a PM student. They're bused here from their local district and bused back, so they take 3 classes here, or 3 hours here, and then they take 3 classes at their local high school.
Well, Brad, it's amazing the work that TEC does here. I'm always proud to say that I work for RESA and that I'm part of the TEC world here. So thanks a lot for being with us this week.
Yeah, I appreciate you talking with me. Thank you.
For Dateline Schools, I'm Chris Troy. Dateline Schools is a presentation of St. Clair County RESA.